after I'd been in my cell a little while, the food came and was slid through the slot on the door and a styrofoam to-go plate. And normally it was just the whole ham and white bread with some chips and a couple of cookies, and there was always a styrofoam cup with Kool-Aid. And I never drank the Kool-Aid. I would dump it down the sink and then use that cup for water. So after, trying to eat that food, I went through the tablet that I had to see if I'd received an email from my dad or my friend. And he just told me that he was contacting my attorney. And I still had no contact with the regular phone at the time. No windows, no interaction with anyone, not even a fucking book. I had my mind on my own thoughts, and they were just bombarding me constantly. I mean, it was the worst of the worst. Because at least where I came from, I had stationery I could write on a pencil, and then my Bible, and then later I had books I could read and contact with other inmates. I didn't have any of that here. So the next day, the friend of mine's a friend that was working in medical, she offered to sneak me in some reading material, and I told the other nurse what had happened to me on the transport van, and that I was afraid to eat in my cell without somebody standing near me. I mean, for some reason, I felt like I would, not be able to eat my food. She softened up after that, and she was the same one that had kind of got snappy at me. And she would stand there and she'd say, "Take your time." She'd say, "Just keep eating." She said, "I'm not going anywhere." And finally, eventually, she snuck me in a Bible and a love story novel. And when you're isolated like that, you will use anything to get relief from your thoughts. I mean, my anxiety stayed really, really high, highest it's probably ever been in my life. And I thought at one point I could take that styrofoam cup and break up some pieces and then put it in my mouth and swallow it. And then that would create a choking effect, and I just wanted to die in there. But I knew I was not going to tell the staff in there that I was having suicide thoughts. It wasn't long after that I was laying on my cot, and I felt a strong presence behind me. And I knew it was covering the area behind my head, kind of in that area behind that cinder block where the toilet and the sink were. That's where I could feel the presence of a spirit. It never really confirmed itself as Jesus, but I had a knowing it was. After that happened, I was able to calm the thoughts of the suicide being my only way out. On Wednesday evening, I received another email from my dad, and he said, "Jonathan's back in Georgia. He's staying with us, and he's helping me do a few things around the yard. You will have another court hearing at 10 a.m. Friday morning. He said, do not speak until you're spoken to." And that was the last thing I was able to hear. I knew that my son had tried to get home because I wasn't there. I knew my son was worried about me, and I knew that I was going to get out. I knew I didn't have a choice, and I somehow knew God would take care of me. And I was panicking with the lack of food, and at one point I called for a nurse assistant to come check my blood sugar. I mean, it was normal, but I just felt so panicky. And the panic was going, at least 12 hours between meals. The lady Donna had begun sneaking me extra peanut butter sandwiches. And then by Thursday, I was able to order some more food. I had the money that they had taken from me when I came in. That kind of went on my books. And so I was able to order some more. And all day Thursday, I begged the nurse to please let me take a shower before my court hearing on Friday morning, because I had not had a shower since I came in on that Saturday. And I had been on my period. I'd been there with the same clothes on. I mean, it was pretty rough. She said, let me see what I can do. She said, I'll have to find an officer that's free to stand and wait on you. You know, because they were so fucking busy doing everything else that I couldn't take a shower. It was getting late, and I could see all these inmates coming into medical to take their meds for the night. And I started to envy them for being able to socialize and move around and go other places in the building. And it had to be after midnight when an officer showed up at my door and said, Weeks, you want a shower? That last shower I had on Saturday afternoon after I was booked in jail, you know, was cold and nasty. And so I walked out of that cell to go. They had a little shower area inside the medical. And they handed me a small towel and another pair of orange, you know, suit to put on after my shower. And the officer opened the door and showed me inside the shower. And it was, I swear it was worse than the first one. I mean, it was. There was soap, a soap dish, and it was just full of black pubic hair. I mean, I just quickly washed my body as fast as I could. I mean, and when I got out, I dried off, and I went to put those orange shirt and pants on, and they smelled like a dirty man sweaty smell, like it gagged me. I mean, I just wanted to take them off because I knew just having to smell that smell, I felt like I was going to throw up. I walked back out and I handed the dirty towel and the clothing to a trustee. The officer opened my cell door and pointed me back into what felt like a place of hell. I was hoping for some good sleep after that shower. It was late, and it felt a little more of a relief that I had washed off 6 days of bad energy and germs, but then I was sitting right back in it. And I woke up to the sound at 4 a.m. with the breakfast plate being slid through that slot on the door. And I reached to see what I could eat. And then I got sick. I mean, it was just like this hard oatmeal, some kind of eggs. I mean, like, I feel my gag reflex right now when I'm talking about eating it. It was so disgusting. I had gotten my commissary in a clear big bag, like garbage bag, the day before. And there was a pair of headphones for me to use with the tablet. And then like some ramen noodles, which I don't even know why I ordered that. There was no warm water in there. I mean, I would have just had to put cold water on there and then just let them sit. And eventually they would have gotten soft. There was a bar of Dove soap and just some other like snacks. And I really just looked at it, and there was some sort of songs on that tablet. So I just tried to use the headphones and then read some more of the emails that were on my tablet. I had an email from my friend that came through on my tablet, and I couldn't believe it. She had said that she felt like I had tried to end my life because when I left the Las Colinas Women's Detention Center, my family and some of my friends had signed up for a text, but it didn't say I had been released or I was in a transport out of there. It said that I had been released due to emergency. And so with that, I mean, I don't know what everybody else kind of felt, but she said that she thought that I had tried to end my life because it was my brother's death anniversary, his first year. And so she said she got down on her knees and she prayed for God to take care of me. And then that she had asked Jesus, to come into her heart, and that she had promised that she would let him back in her life because of me. And I couldn't believe what I had read. I was thinking, what if, it's taking this traumatic event to reclaim my light, to experience a major transformation, and to ignite the light in those who were near me. I did not want to email anybody and let them know that I was going in front of the Superior Court judge that following morning. I was too afraid that if someone monitored my emails, this is how paranoid I was in there, that if the jail was monitoring my emails, then they may sabotage the whole possibility of me getting out of there and getting a bond. That's really where my mind would go. So that morning, I sat up on the edge of that cot and I prayed with every bit of energy I had. I prayed and I said, God, you have got to get me out of here. You've got to get me out of this jail. I said, if I continue to stay here, I will never survive. I said, I promise to return home and do everything that you have called me to do. And if I don't go home, then my life's going to end in here, because I didn't care anymore. Then I sent my friend another email and I just said, I need you to pray real hard. And I didn't tell her why. And I said, I need you to get on Facebook and contact my best friend Connie. And I said, and have her pray for me too. I said, she knows a lot of people and a lot of people who will pray. And she said, okay. She said, please tell me that you're okay. And then she had spoke to my shaman teacher out in Sedona, Arizona. And she told her to relay the message back to me to stand up in that cell and clear my energy field. She said, it's full of stuff that's not yours. She said, so just stand up and start at your shoulders and just wipe your energy field clean. And so, that's what I did. And then I felt lighter and I felt hopeful after I finished. So I laid back down, I put my headphones in, and I had no idea what time it was. So I just sent one stupid email to my friend saying, will you tell me what time it is? And she said, well, it's almost 11. And I had not heard anything about a court hearing or seeing a judge. And I thought, well, here we go again. Another disappointment. No one cares if I die in this place of filth and abuse. I must have fallen into a deep sleep. And while I was in that moment of despair, and I jumped from a noise that I heard, and it was the clicking of that steel door. And it was like I was just trying to wake up and figure out who was coming in there and why. And I heard, Weeks, let's go. You've bonded out. Get your things and follow me. It was the officer that helped me shower when I came in. And it was the nurse in medical that had been standing there helping me eat my food meal after meal because I was so afraid. And I said, can I hug you? And she said, yeah. She said, that's fine. And I wrapped my arms around her as tight as I could. And I said, I just want to thank you for being my angel while I was in here. You kept me alive. And then my mind it's so crazy, like what your body does. Like you just think you'll be like, oh, I'm getting out. No, it was a panic. Because it was so unreal. I'd been so confined and locked up and everything. I'd been through for 5 weeks, and it was just like my mind just kept going, I'm getting out. I'm getting out. Oh my God, I'm getting out. I'm getting out. I couldn't hear anything else but that voice in my head. And I can only try to explain the feelings of pressing those words beneath my breath. If you could possibly feel like going through your whole life as a orphan child, and then somebody adopts you, or if you spent your whole life as an adopted child and then you finally meet your parents. I mean, it's that kind, like literally that kind of excitement when you're finally freed from something like being locked up like that. Or, imagine spending your whole life in poverty and then winning, $1 million lottery ticket. So she smiled at me and she led me out of the cell and she said, listen, she said, go home and stay inside. She said, this whole country's on lockdown because of COVID and you don't need to be out. I never looked back at that place. That I had spent 7 days in. I couldn't even turn around and look. But I'd spent more time feeling the presence of Jesus and my brother and taking advice from a shaman that lived, thousands of miles away. Me and the officer walked down this long hall and back to the area where I had changed. And when I had came in, where my clothing was hanging. And it was her giving me my clothing back again. She said, just stand there and I'll give you your clothes back so you can put your clothes on that you came in